Sanjay Hegde, what is the legal takeaway from the court? It's interesting that the court has addressed whether Kejriwal should continue to be chief minister. Said that's none of our business. It's for him to decide. On the larger question, which Abhishek Singhvi built his case on, the lawyer for Arvind Kejriwal, that the arrest itself was illegal, they have said this larger bench has to decide. So, in a sense, they've not taken a decision except to uphold the interim bail that Nyay Bindu, the judge, had believed in. But they have not made the similar kind of negative comments about the enforcement directorate that she had. What's your take, Sanjay?
Well, I do think that in terms of law, this is a historic order. And essentially, if the ED kept on being a private militia for the government of the day, this is clipping of the ED's wings. They say that, look, you cannot arbitrarily arrest people. If you want to arbitrarily arrest, there has to be good reason. Those reasons are capable of being judicially reviewed. And just please keep Mr. Kejriwal out of the equation. This order, and when it finally comes from a 3-judge bench or a larger bench, will probably deliver justice to a lot of victims of the ED. And I know several cases where people are in prison just because some ED officer decides that this fellow deserves to be in prison. And then
Could you elaborate on how the ED's wings have been clipped? You say the ED's wings have been clipped.
Yes. See, what is the ED's essential power? The ED's essential power is the power of arrest. And then thereafter, to oppose any grant of bail, saying that you have to come to a prima facie conclusion that he is not guilty, which is setting a very high standard. Now, please look at the questions that the court has framed and referred to a larger bench. Whether the need and necessity to arrest is a separate ground to challenge the order of arrest in terms of Section 19(1) of the PMLA. Whether the need and necessity to arrest refers to the satisfaction of formal parameters to arrest and take a person to custody, or it relates to other personal grounds and reasons regarding necessity to arrest a person in the facts and circumstances of the case. If the questions are answered in the affirmative, what are the parameters and facts that are needed to be taken into consideration by the court while examining the question of need and necessity to arrest? So essentially, why do you need to arrest the man? And that question, if it is open to be judicially reviewed, the ED officer who decides, oh, look, I have the power, off you go inside, and I'm throwing away the key. Let some judge find a key and open it some years later. I will not have a trial. I will not do anything. I will keep evergreening a charge sheet. All that goes. And please, the ED officers who know that those who are in power today may not be in power tomorrow will now have to be very circumspect in deciding whom they want to arrest. It can't be somebody's mere say-so.
Yeah, a very interesting two perspectives are emerging in this conversation, Sandeep Ghosh. One that believes that Arvind Kejriwal's wings have been clipped, even as he will come out. The other that believes the ED's wings have been clipped going forward. Maybe both are true for a while. How do you look at it?
See, first point is, coming immediately after Sanjay, qua ED and the Supreme Court, what he said is absolutely correct. And I think Abhinandita also alluded to that point of PMLA versus the CBI case. I think PMLA is of a much larger concern for the all citizens at large, because this law, it has been questioned that it almost, some people think it's verges on draconian, and it gives infinite power to the ruling party. So therefore, qua ED, qua the general citizenry, I think this is a very important, even though it's a bail order, it's a very important order. Now, the other question we are asking, does this give Arvind Kejriwal the right to celebrate or AAP to right to celebrate? That's a separate question. And there we are getting into, a very ironic situation. I don't know whether Sanjay will agree with me, because of the way today the final judgment and the cases get dragged on. today a bail order is viewed as a victory or a defeat. It's almost viewed as a verdict. A bail order or a stay order, people treat that as either indictment or verdict, and which is not how it ought to be. A bail is, as you said, it is always conditional. It is pending the final judgment. But today, the way cases drag on, etc., that is how it's transpired. And it's very funny that every time somebody is denied bail, if the people against it say, "Oh, the court has acted, either under influence or arbitrarily," and otherwise they say, "Oh, hail justice." That's the last. That I think is something we have to get away from. So the
Right.
question is vis-a-vis in the political space, what is happening? Here, I would like to make 2 points, Barkha. One is, I think these arrests, and these repeated arrests and this bail, etc., is really diluting in terms of perception, the position, the image of the ED, the government, everything else. Because if you do that, you need to be able to follow it through, be on
So
solid
you think the
ground.
BJP and the ED, the image is taking a hit with all these cases?
I think the image has definitely taken a hit over which are the cases, though people say there has been so many, cases closure and indictment. How many of the high profile cases have we seen closure in terms of public perception? How many of these cases, you and me don't keep track of what's happening in some smaller cases across the country. And that's the statistics which is touted in terms of the rate of conviction and number of conviction. But you and I just follow these high profile cases. And when we follow the high profile cases, what are we seeing? And this is it's a hide and seek kind of a game which keeps on happening. Somebody is coming out, he's being put back, and a new case is being filed. I don't think that is doing any great service to people. But from Kejriwal's, sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but yet the government's law officers seem very fixated on opposing bail to Kejriwal.
See, government of law officers, there's a strange thing. While they say its agencies are separate, agencies are at arm's length, it's a kind of option. Sure, it's a fait accompli. People have to do that. I don't know whether they can take a different view. I think that we can't really get into that. But the political implications of that, Barkha, is the question: whether this is going to impact Kejriwal or Aam Aadmi Party's the political prospects. But I think, at least in this particular case of Kejriwal, I wouldn't say this about other political parties, not even Hemant Soren's case. The Kejriwal's case, if I were in Abhinandita's space, sorry, Abhinandita, I would be more interested in watch what was going to be Kejriwal's position within the party. Because so many times coming in and out, some of your other colleagues being still in jail for such a long time, albeit in whichever case. And we have seen while he was away for a longish period, how different personalities played out, things played out. So Kejriwal's position in AAP, whether AAP will be singularly identified with Kejriwal, and those are the things I think to watch out from.
Those are very interesting political questions, and I'll come to them in just a moment. But Sanjay Hegde, as one of our sort of regular viewers, a question for you. Barkha, given today's political strength in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, today's Supreme Court judgment and Sanjay's explanation, that's your explanation, helps BJP not become the victim of the same PMLA treatment by ED in future. Which is quite ironic if you want to just take that. Because, of course, the benefit is to everybody, irrespective of whether roles reverse going forward.
Of course, there's a brilliant legend of one of the Sikh gurus who was in prison. And then when the emperor ordered him to be released, he could take somebody along who could hang on to his robes. So ribbons were made and everybody hung on to the ropes and they all walked out. So this order will permit a lot of people to walk out. I was thinking of one unfortunate man I happened to represent in Bombay. His name was Malik. Nawab Malik, they went after. The ED went after. They thought this guy was also somewhere his relative. And Nawab Malik has gone through the washing machine. This man was not important enough to merit a washing machine. That man is still in prison. Just because the ED says, look, we have the power to oppose bail and we shall oppose it in every case.
Yeah.
There is no sense of fairness in the prosecution, which then makes the courts, after having to go through everything, really then say, look, we have to draw a line somewhere.
Let's move from the legal to the political just for a moment, Abhinandita and Ujjwal. I think Sandeep Ghosh's question is an important one. When the court clearly says that Mr. Kejriwal cannot sign files, cannot go to the office. Now, I understand in any case, he had a very unconventional position because he didn't actually hold any portfolios. He's also been criticized for that. People say that, you heard Ujjwal say he's hung his colleagues out to dry. His other colleagues, no one's really canvassing for Manish Sisodia to come out in the way that they're canvassing in the party for Kejriwal to come out. Vijay Nair, others continue to be in, right? Do you believe Arvind Kejriwal will remain chief minister? Should remain, can remain?
Well, honestly, I'm tempted to give you a more candid answer. And I think...
Please do.
So, one, I would like him to continue as the chief minister. I think he's a brilliant person. I have not seen a mind like this, which can actually effectively has taken a generation out of poverty in Delhi through the different education formats. I mean, he's brilliant. There is no question. But politically, I would be lying if I say that we're not in a spot. Because the way in which we have been witch hunted, and I don't think anyone can deny that. Even our haters understand that we have been witch hunted. We have been attacked in a crazy way. So, and we are a small party. So obviously we are not necessarily in, I will not say everything is hunky-dory. It is challenging for us. And that was the idea. The BJP wanted to completely collapse our internal systems. They also wanted to ensure that there's some infighting. Like you said, that is the narrative, that nobody is, vouching for Manish Sisodia to come out, which is not true at all. Manish Sisodia already has a bail in CBI, and now we've just been applying for bail after bail, and there is only that much that can be done, when you're just so pursued in litigation. So I think that we do have, but I'm very hopeful that because we are also we don't have a formula as such. We are also learning as we go ahead. I think there is a high chance that we will be able to, and I hope so, that we will actually be able to, find some opportunities in these setbacks and do our own course correction. I think that is where we should be looking at, and we will. And somehow, the people of Delhi who are suffering, don't have to suffer. We're also waiting for the ordinance judgment, ordinance case to be taken up by the Supreme Court now.